Hey everyone, and welcome. So, have you ever really, truly stopped to think about how you experience the world? I mean, it feels so direct, right? So immediate. But what if I told you that you don't actually experience reality directly at all? Nope. Instead, your brain is working 24/7 building your reality from the ground up using just little bits and pieces of raw data from the world. It's wild. So yeah, let's dive in and explore your own personal user's guide to reality. All right, here's the game plan. We're going to take a grand tour of your senses. First up, we'll tackle the absolute most important difference, sensing versus perceiving. Then, we'll get into how you see and hear. After that, we'll meet our chemical detectives, taste and smell. And to wrap it all up, we'll tune in to those amazing inner senses, the unseen guides that run the show from inside your own body.
Okay, before we get into any specific sense, we have to lock down this one foundational idea. Seriously, this is the master key. It unlocks how you experience literally everything, from the color of a sunset to the taste of your morning coffee. It's a two-part system, and you're going to see it pop up again and again.
So here are the two parts. First, you've got sensation. Think of this as the purely objective part. It's just your sense organs, your eyes, your ears, your skin, hoovering up raw data. A machine can measure light waves, right? That's sensation. But then you've got perception. And this is the subjective story your brain creates to make sense of all that data. See, the light wave itself isn't blue. Your brain's interpretation of that specific wavelength is what you perceive as the color blue. So remember that. Sensation is the data. Perception is the story.
Okay, let's jump into our most dominant sense, vision. You know, we tend to think we see with our eyes, but it's way more accurate to say we see with our brain. Your eye is really just this incredible biological camera. Its whole job is to project a little upside-down movie onto a screen in the back.
Let's break down the parts of this camera with some simple analogies, okay? Your cornea is like the protective windshield. The lens, that's like a flexible M&M that actually changes its shape to get everything in focus. And the retina? Well, that's the movie screen at the very back where the image gets projected. On that screen, you have this tiny ultra-high-def spot called the fovea, and it's jam-packed with your color film. Those are the cones. Meanwhile, your black and white film, the rods, they handle all your peripheral vision and help you see when it's dark.
Which brings up a really fascinating question, doesn't it? If our color film, our cones, only come in three basic types, pretty much red, green, and blue, how on earth is it possible that we can see millions of different colors? You know, everything from turquoise to gold to magenta. Well, the answer is in two brilliant theories that actually work together, explaining how your eyes and your brain team up to paint your world.
So first you have the trichromatic theory. This is all happening in the eye itself. This is sensation. It's pretty straightforward. Your three cone types, red, green, and blue, they all fire in different combinations, and your brain mixes those signals just like paint to create every other color. But that doesn't explain everything. That's where the opponent process theory comes in. This one happens in the brain. This is perception. It says that your neurons work in opposing pairs, like red versus green. So when you stare at something green for a while, you actually tire out the green part of that pair, and when you look away, the red part rebounds and fires like crazy.
And this rebound effect is absolutely incredible, because it means we can prove this is happening inside your brain, right now. You can literally perceive a color that doesn't physically exist in front of your eyes. You ready to try it out?
All right, let's do this. An image is about to come on the screen. All you have to do is stare at the little white dot right in the middle. Don't look away. Ready? Okay, here we go. Stare at that dot. Just keep your focus right there. You're fatiguing the color receptors in your eyes right now. Keep going just a little bit longer. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1. Now, keep staring at the white screen.
Whoa, did you see it? You should have seen a brief after image of a flag in its normal red, white, and blue. That image wasn't on the screen at all. It was a color rebound created entirely inside your brain. That is the opponent process theory of perception in action. Pretty amazing, right? Okay, let's shift gears from light waves to sound waves. Hearing is, at its core, a mechanical process. It's this remarkable chain reaction that takes simple physical vibrations in the air and converts them into the rich perceptions of music, language, and, the sound of your favorite person's laugh.
So how do we perceive pitch? Well, guess what? It's two theories working together again. For high pitches, we have the place theory. This basically says that the specific place along the cochlea's membrane that vibrates tells the brain the pitch.
kind of like hitting a specific key on a piano. But for low pitches, the frequency theory works better. This one suggests that the rate or frequency that the nerve cells are firing matches the sound wave's frequency, and that's what tells the brain the pitch. The two of them together give us our full, amazing range of hearing.
But what about knowing where a sound is coming from? It's all about timing. Your brain is like this super fast detective. It instantly calculates the teeny tiny microscopic delay and volume difference between a sound hitting one ear and then the other. That tiny little disparity is all your brain needs to pinpoint exactly where that sound is coming from in 3D space. And it does it automatically, in an instant.
All right, let's move on to our most ancient and, in a lot of ways, most mysterious senses, taste and smell. These are our chemical senses. They literally work by detecting actual molecules from our food and from the air. And get this, they have a direct, unfiltered hotline to the parts of your brain that handle memory and emotion.
So when we talk about taste, the real scientific term is gustation. We're only talking about 5 basic sensations your tongue is built to detect: salty, sour, sweet, bitter, and that savory, meaty taste of umami. But wait, what about spicy? Well, here's a fun fact. Spice isn't a taste at all. It's actually your pain receptors detecting a mild chemical burn from something like capsaicin in a chili pepper. So if we only have those 5 basic taste sensations, this leads to a pretty mind-blowing conclusion. You can't actually taste chocolate, or coffee, or mint, or strawberry. There are 0 chocolate receptors anywhere on your tongue. So, what in the world are we actually experiencing when we eat a brownie? The answer is flavor. And flavor isn't a sensation. It is 100% a perception. It's a full-on multi-sensory experience that your brain constructs by blending the basic taste from your tongue, like sweetness, with the aroma from your nose and even the texture or the feel of it on your tongue. This is exactly why when you have a cold and your nose is all stuffed up, food tastes so boring and bland. You're still getting the taste, but you're missing the single biggest ingredient of flavor, your sense of smell.
Okay, so we've covered the 5 big senses that look outward at the world. But what about the senses that look inward? It's time to meet the unseen guides that let you move through the world, control your body with incredible precision, and, tell you when something's wrong.
First up, you've got kinesthesias. This is your movement sense. Right now, without even looking, you know exactly where your arms and legs are. That's kinesthesias. It's this constant, non-stop feedback loop between your muscles and your brain that lets you do coordinated things, like touching your nose with your eyes closed or typing without looking down at the keyboard.
And working right alongside that is your vestibular sense. This is your sense of balance. It's all governed by these tiny, fluid-filled canals in your inner ear. As you move your head, the fluid sloshes around, and that tells your brain your head's position and which way you're moving. It basically tells you which way is up. It's why you can stand on one leg, and it's also why you get motion sick. Your eyes are saying, "We're not moving," but your vestibular sense is screaming, "Oh yes, we are." And what about pain? Well, here's the good news. There's a limit. The gate control theory suggests your spinal cord has this kind of neurological gates that can either block pain signals or let them through to the brain. And here's the kicker. That gate can only handle so much information at once. This is why when you stub your toe, rubbing it actually helps. The competing sensation of pressure and touch sends other signals that rush to the gate and effectively close it to some of those pain signals. Okay, so pain is a perception, one that our brain can actually turn up or down. But what's really amazing is that our perception can stretch beyond our own skin. I mean, have you ever watched someone get a paper cut and you physically wince? It wasn't your finger, so why did you flinch? This all leads to a really powerful idea, a kind of hypothesis. What if empathy is a kind of sense? Maybe not with its own organ, but with our brain's incredible ability to simulate what another person is feeling. If our brain can sense social and emotional cues from other people, then the perception it builds from that data, well, maybe that's what we call connection. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your entire reality is a perception, a story built by our brain. And if we can think of empathy as a skill, a way of perceiving the world that builds connection, it raises a pretty big question. It's not just about how our senses work, but about how we choose to use them. So how will you practice it?